Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Daily Racing Form YouTube. I'm Gino Buccola alongside Mike Beer with producer Lucia helping us out. And as we finish up with the Breeders' Cup last week, it's not like we take any time off in the world of horse racing. We get right back to it. It's a big day of racing up at Woodbine. They have a couple graded stakes races up there. Let's take a peek at one of them as we preview a grade 3 race. It's going to go as race number 7. This is the grade 3 at Maple Leaf on Saturday up at Woodbine. And I think they have 3 graded stakes races up there. So a nice little day. It's actually kind of an underrated Saturday, Mike. Some graded stake action at Woodbine, Aqueduct, Churchill's got a solid little card, some Del Mar racing. What'd you think about the field that's lining up for this Maple Leaf?
Yeah, I think that it's kind of a well-matched field here, Jenna. You can see from the morning line. I mean, I personally am kind of surprised with the morning line favorite here for this
Agree.
race, the number 5 Blitz, but we'll see. I think to me, my biggest concern with a lot of the horses in this race is the distance. Who's going to get the mile and a quarter most effectively?
And as we move to the pace projector for Time Form US pace projector, what made the race a little bit tricky is small field. A lot of these horses want to be forward. I don't know if they're going to be flying or like lining up on the lead, but I'm not sure who's going to necessarily get the best trip. And as you pointed out, not a whole lot of horses that are like real mile and a quarter horses on the synthetic. Hurricane Claire, Four Flying, Blitz, they seem like they all want to go forward and probably in the top, grouping in here.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. We'll see. That's another thing that I'm not sure that I agree with here is this pace projector, which is calling for a fast pace. I guess we'll see because the 2 and the 5 can go forward for sure. I actually even feel like the 4 could be a part of this thing if they wanted to go here. But to me, the 1 was the speed. She's got the rail. She's in good form, at least on this surface this year. And she does most of her best running towards the front. I thought she would make the lead.
Yeah, and as we meet the field here, we'll start with Hurricane Claire. And as you were pointing out, you look through her last 4 races or so, you see that really big win on the synthetic back in July when she earns a 95 by her speed figure. Then you see the Ontario Matron when she's a really good second that day, and she's behind Caitlin, her greatness. Like races like either one of those would go a long way against a group like this, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. It just feels like she's come back in not only an improved form as a 4-year-old, but really improved form on this surface, which I think could really be key for her. And we'll see about the distance for her too. But it's at least worth pointing out that she was a stakes winner going this distance last year. It was on turf; it wasn't on this surface, but she got this distance in a stakes race. I don't know, man. I feel like there's a lot to like about her, and I do think she's the main speed of this race.
For Flying is a Group 1 winner in Brazil, but doesn't have a whole lot of experience going this trip. I think just 1 race at a mile and a quarter on turf, ran second there. And you'd imagine maybe it will be a little more forward stretching out in here. Source ran third behind Hurricane Claire, 2 starts back in the Ontario Matron. Was okay at Keeneland, didn't get the smoothest of trips. I thought the trouble, it says blocked, may have been a little bit overrated there, but I think she still fits here. I'm curious what kind of a price she ends up being. There's just a lot of horses in here that kind of look similar on paper.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I will say I just don't. I couldn't identify the one race of hers that really got me that interested. Gino, I guess we'll see. How much she can improve in this race. She was, as you mentioned, she was behind Hurricane Claire 2 starts back in that grade 3. I just felt like overall she got a really good trip in that race. Had no real excuse, in my opinion, to at least not. I don't think she was going to win that race. She wasn't going to beat Caitlin or greatness, but had no excuse not to get by Hurricane Claire for second there. She just couldn't do it. I don't know. Didn't love any of her races necessarily. Wasn't convinced more distance was going to make a huge difference here. I'll be interested to see how they ride her. Maybe they will get aggressive this time.
Dancing in Dixie is a horse who last year at 3 was actually pretty solid and was a horse who would always come running late if they went fast enough early. You knew you were going to get a good late rally from this one. Hadn't really taken the next step forward here. I mean, there's a really good stretch of races last year going a mile, or the back-to-back races going a mile and 3/16 and a mile and 5/16. Those are the ones that are comparable to this trip, but she's another who spent the bulk of her career going a little bit shorter than this, Mike.
Yeah, and one who, I think those shorter distances often work to her advantage because she has no speed at all. So she wants to sit back and hope for a fast pace that she can come running at. And in these longer races, you don't often get those.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like last time Cassie finally switched her back to the all-weather surface. I mean, spent almost her entire career on turf, but early on, she ran some really nice races on this surface. They got away from it. They had some success with her as a turf horse, but they finally came back last time. She didn't run great in there, Gino, but that was also the kind of race where You didn't want to be closing. You didn't want to be wide. She was both of those things in that race. So maybe you don't want to hold that race against her too much.
Long Ago has been on the turf as of late, and she has been facing better, Mike. This is going to be a drop in class for her when you look at Beleza and La Mahana, even Pinup Betty, and some of the horses she's been facing would probably be pretty tough in a spot like this. She doesn't have as much recent synthetic form, but earlier on in her career over in France, and then when she came to the U.S. initially, she was running on the synthetic over at Turfway, so shouldn't be too much of a concern with her as far as the surface is concerned.
Yeah, exactly. I like her recent form. This is obviously class relief for her. I'm not, her last couple of races aren't great, but they're not terrible either. This is class relief for her, and as opposed to a bunch of the other horses we've already talked about, and a bunch of the horses we're going to talk about, don't have to worry about surface, don't have to worry about distance, don't really have to worry about what kind of trip she's going to get because she's got speed, so she can be forward, but she doesn't need to be on the lead. Just feels like shipping into a really good spot here for a really dangerous trainer.
I like the way you played it out. I think you have like the least amount of questions that you're asking about her that you have like the rest of the field. You just sort of know she's going to show up. This is class relief. She's run on the surface. She can sit close, but she can also pass horses. Yep. Distance, not a concern. So she just checks a lot of boxes in here for a horse he thinks going to show up and run really well. Blitz has been very good in the 3 synthetic starts. My concern here with her, Mike, is the other runners in here who have similar running styles, who kind of want to be forward and they're not that fast to where you seem like she could probably get the lead in here. And she's another one who doesn't have a whole lot of experience at this trip. Most of her work has been mile races, mile and a 16th races. This is a lot farther than where she's been recently.
Yeah, you have to worry about that. I mean, I think just to start off talking about her, she's 2-1 on the morning line for this race. Yeah. That's enough for me is to say, no, I would never bet her at that price, win or lose. And maybe she will move forward here. Maybe she will handle the distance. Maybe she will get the trip that she needs, all those things. I would never take 2-1 on all those things happening. And here, we'll see where she ultimately settles. Maybe she'll drift way up off that line. Last time she did get wired at Presque Isle Downs, but she also just set an absolute perfect trip in that race right behind the winner and never made any inroads in there, like, to make me feel like she was unlucky not to win there. I don't know, Gino. I don't see the race that makes me want to bet her at anything like the morning line price.
Her 2 wins too, they've been soft on the lead wins. Like she's never passed a horse really at all. And I don't know if she really wants to do that. So I go back and forth with her too. I was surprised that she's that short, and maybe that means she'll float up a little bit if we're that cold on her. But yeah, if she is shortish in here, I'm looking elsewhere. Queen's Command. This will actually be the first time in North America that she tries the synthetic. She's been on the turf as of late. Most recently, she was well beaten in the grade 2 Dance Smartly when she was 33-1. And even the comment line says made little impression. She just didn't really show much that day. What do we do with her, Mike?
Just if you're going to bet her in here, I guess you're just going to have to hope that she takes a pretty big step forward here. And, maybe the first race there for Drexler 2 starts back, maybe that suggests that he did get her better. He did improve her. I had way too many questions about her, Gino. They've tried her in a few stakes races along the way. Hasn't really worked out for her. I had a tough time warming up to her, but she'll be a price.
Sultana's a little interesting because, at first glance, she's not that quick on paper when you look at her speed figures. She was behind Blitz a couple starts back, but she is lightly raced. She does not really have a bad race on her page. And if you're just talking about connections with Hernandez and Attard teaming up, they certainly can get horses to improve and get them into the winner's circle. She's just going to have to get a little bit faster than what she's been running recently.
Exactly. The most lightly raced horse in the race, though. So maybe you can project even more improvement here, which she's just going to have to find. It's not like, listen, we've already gone through the first 6 horses in this field. There's some good fillies and mares in there, but they're not killers. So maybe she can improve enough here. She's not my kind of horse, but she should be a good price.
As we move to selections, we'd always love to hear from you. So drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know who you have in this race. Make sure to subscribe so that way every time we have videos, they'll be delivered to you immediately. Mike, I went with the 2 just looking for a little bit of value. I thought the 4 is the horse to beat Long Ago. To me, that's the horse that is actually the one that is probably the most likely winner. That's who you're going to put on top Long Ago, who I think actually may offer us a little bit of value if these morning lines stick close to it.
I just found the most to like about her in this field, and she isn't the morning line favorite. We'll see how they wind up betting this thing. I won't be surprised if she's the favorite, but maybe she won't be. And if she's not, I think this is a great spot for her. I have her on top. The horse I tried to get to was the 3, Dancing and Dixie. I'm worried about the trip she's going to pull in here because she just has no speed at all. But I do think she's a little underrated, and I do think she'll get this far. I'm interested to see what she does going forward on this surface.
Big Saturday up at Woodbine. Good luck when you're playing the races, whoever you play, however you play them.